Chapter 10, Part 2 of The Nightland by William Hope Hodgson. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. The Nightland. Chapter 10. The Maid of the Olden Days, Part 2. Now, while Nanni did sleep, I stripped off mine armour and took off mine undersuit, which was named the armour-suit, and a very warm and proper garment, and made thick that it should ease the chafe of the armour. And afterward I put on the armour again, but the suit I folded and laid beside the maid, for truly she was nigh unclothed, by reason of the bushes and the rocks that had rent her garments allwise. And I stood watch for the maid the while that she did slumber, and surely she went 10 long hours. And I walked upon this side of the fire-hole and now upon that, and did oft cease, that I might hearken both with mine ears and with my spirit, for truly I was all wakened to a new care and delight, and did have a fresh and doubled fear of any horrid creature or force of evil, and this should be very plain to you. And in the end of 10 long hours the maid wakened, and I ran to her all joyed that she was come again to knowledge, and to be that I could talk with her. And she sat upward and looked at me, and there was new light and movement in her, so that I knew her strength was come back into her. And for a little minute she said nought unto me, the while that I did ask her how she did be, and she looked at me very keen, so that I wondered somewise in a daze what was in her mind. And she asked me of a sudden how long it did be since that I had slept, and having not thought to put away her asking, because that the question was over sudden, I said 84 hours, which should be 3 days, and the half of a day of 4 hours and 20. And this thing I knew, because that I kept alway a very careful counting of the hours, lest that I get all adrift, and know not how long I was taken to come to this place and that. And truly, even as I told this thing to the maid, I was grown very quaint in the head, for indeed I was gone a wondrous while without slumber, and had done much and bitter work in that time, and before then had been much lacking of rest, as you do know. And sudden the maiden cried out something, and tossed the cloak from her, and had me into her arms, and did heed not to have any foolish shame of her nakedness. And in verity I knew not how I was gone so strange, but do see now that I was nigh to swoon for lack of slumber and rest. And she kept me very steady for a little, and afterward helped me to be laid upon the ground, and she put the scrip and the pouch under my head. And so I did lie very calm and restful, and did be the more so, because that I was grown so tired in the heart, the which did make my head to be very hushed, as that all the world was grown very quiet in a moment. And the maid did mind then that she did lack to be properly covered, and she gat the cloak and put it about her, and did afterward sit a little beside me, and did rub my hands. And presently I was something more to myself, and she did grow more happy of her mind, and made to give me something for my stomach. For indeed I was grown those late hours to be foolish, and to have no wiseness to proper eating. And she did lift my head, the while that she did take the scrip from under, and kept me very sweetly upon her knee, and so until she had gat free a pack of the tablets, and the flask and the cup. For I had put all matters back into the scrip before Nanni had gone into sleep, and because of this I had not been able to eat or drink aught, save by wakening her, as you perceive, for indeed I had put the scrip and the pouch under her head for a pillow, as I have told. And she would not bide that I should do aught, but only did ask concerning the making of the water, and was wondrous amazed to see how the powder did fizz up and become water. And indeed she had too much into the cup, for truly it rose up and ran to the ground. And when she had done this, and ceased to marvel, she put 3 of the tablets into the water, and made me a broth, even as I had made a broth for her. But indeed I was in no need, and had done very well to eat the tablets and drink the water. Yet truly I was not wishful to lack the love of her way, as you may think. Now while I did drink the broth, I did be very restful upon the earth, and mine head against mine own maid. and I did mind me now that I tell her concerning the armour suit that I did mean for her wear. Yet I said not that I had stripped it from me, for then she had been like to say nay, and to trouble that I was like to come to a chill, as is the way of a woman. But indeed I might so well have told her, for truly she did know on the moment, and set to a little unto weeping, yet very gentle and sweet, and did kiss me as I lay there, and say such things as should make a young man the better to have heard, if but that his own dear love doth say the same. And she would nowise wear the garment. But yet in the end I prevailed by gentle reasonings, and because that I was her master, as I was born to be, and moreover her own sweet sense did show that I spoke for wisdom, for how should she come through all the bitter way before, if that she had not been a strong and close-made garment? And as you do mind, her coverings did be in utter rags, as I have told, yet very sweet and clean, as I had known, so that I ween she had stripped oft in the lonesome night, and washed her garments in this or that hot spring of the sulphur waters and other matters. And in verity alway she was much given to washings, as I did soon perceive. Now presently I did be very well again, but with a sore slumber that did press upon my head. Yet ere I should sleep, I did mean that I bathe her feet and bind them with ointment and with my pocket-cloth, and truly her feet were very small and pretty. And I sat me up, taking my head from her knee, and told her of mine intent. But in verity she did but throw her arms about my neck and give me one loving kiss, and laughed so hearty that I did think to do this thing when indeed she was the better able to mind it, and I the better suited to have me to my rest. And surely this was very true, and I made no ado, save to give her the ointment, but lay back and did be quiet. Now I did be upon my right side, and she went to my back and took the cloak from about her and spread it upon me, and afterward stooped over very dainty and kissed me, and bade me to go very swift to my sleep, for that she did mean to make her toilet and to get into mine armour suit. And I made no foolishness in this matter, yet told her to ease the cloak a little about me, so that I should have room to take the discos from my hip, and this thing I did, and took the discos to my breast, as was my habit, and surely I saw that her eyes did look at me with a little shining, because that I had so strange and fierce a bedmate. And I made her to promise that she'd keep a very keen harking, the which was like that she should do, and to call to me on the instant that she did perceive any unease in the night. And after that I shut mine eyes, that I should not shame her, and put out mine arms, and kissed her once, and turned from her unto my slumber, and she away to my back, that she might be modest to her needs. And surely I was asleep in but a little moment, and with a great love and delight in my heart and in all my being. And truly I waked not for 12 great hours. And when that time was gone, lo, I came awake, and surely the maid did sit beside me, so bonny and so winsome and pretty, that mine arms went unto her in a moment, and she into them, and gave me a loving and tender kiss, and afterward slipped away from me, very sensible and loving, and did stand up and turn about to be looked at. For she did wear the armour suit, and surely it was loose upon her, but yet very pleasing, being close knit. And I to my seat from lying, that I might see the maid the better. And in verity I must kiss her again, for she did be with her hair all about her, that she looked pretty unto me, and her little feet did be bare, and so that they made my heart new tender to look upon them, for truly she was utter lost of foot-gear. And I to my knee to her, and she, not to deny me, did come to be kissed again. Now when I found how great a time I had slept, I did scold mine own, but yet, as she did say, I must have long slumber, if that I go so long wakeful, else should I lose my strength. And I asked how oft she had eat, and she told me but the once, and that 6 hours off. And on this I did scold again, but surely she put a very pretty finger sudden upon my lips, so that I might do naught but laugh and kiss that same finger. And after that we did eat and drink, and made plans, and once I did comfort the maid, for indeed her sorrow did rise in her, because that her father was come unto his death, and the peoples of the Lesser Redoubt all destroyed, and adrift in the night amid the monsters of that land. And in verity I was set that we go quickly out of that place, ere there came an horrid destruction upon us. And surely there should scarce be any human beside in all that land, for there must have come death upon the chief of those that did make escape. And after we had eat and drunk, I did count the packs of the tablets, and was thankful in all my being that I had been careful and denied my belly, for I did perceive that there were left enough for our needs, if that we made a good speed, and did not fear to be empty. And of the water powder, as it might be named, there were left 2 full flasks, and somewhat of that one that I had drunk from all my journeying. And by this thing you shall perceive that we did not belike to die for the need of such matters. And here, as it doth occur unto me, I do ponder how it did be that we had no thought to slay any small creature for our food. But mayhap we had no knowledge this way, for surely they did not this thing to my knowing in the mighty pyramid. But yet, as I have said before this, I have not all knowledge of the doings of the peoples. But in verity I never saw joint meat in all the time of that far life that I do wot of. Yet had we but slain somewhat for our hunger in that great wandering, we had been less empty in the belly. Now before that we should do aught beside, we must contrive that Nanny have some gear for her feet. And to this intent I did make a search into the pouch, and surely I found that there did be a changed pair of inner shoes, that were made to go within mine own shoes of the grey metal. And at this I was wondrous glad, and did make the maid to sit upon a little rock, while that I made a fitting of the shoes. And surely they did be utter big and clumsy upon her little feet, so that I wasn't surprised to know how great is a man beside a maid. But in the end I had a cunning thought, for I cut off all the side of a strap throughout the length of the strap, very thin and careful, and so had a lace to tie the boots around the tops, which were soft and easy for such a purpose. And after that I stood away to look at the maid, and neither she nor I were truly pleased, for indeed she was too pretty to be so hid and muffled. Yet were we glad otherwise, for now she might go without hurt to her feet. And afterward we packed our gear, and she did make a bundle of her torn garments, for truly they might be proper somewise to our need. And so we to begin the way out of that desolate land. And we went forward together across the land, and the journey was no more a weariness, but of a close and sweet joy. Yet did I have a new anxiousness, as you do perceive, lest that any monster come to harm mine own. And we went 12 great hours in the bed of the olden sea, and did eat twice in that time. And surely the maid did grow utter weak and weary, for she was not come proper unto her strength, yet did she make no odd saying to tell me of this thing. But indeed I did know, and I stopped in the 13th hour, and took her into mine arms, even as I should carry a babe. And I went forward with her, and did hush her protesting with a kiss, and afterward she did but nestle unto me and shelter against my breast. And I bade the maid to sleep, but indeed she had no power to this end, for her body did ache very sore. But yet did she strive to give me an obedience in this thing. And in the 18th hour, when that I stopped to have food and drink, surely she did be awake, yet had she been utter silent, and I made to scold her. But she gat from mine arms, and did go upward upon her toes, and put her finger against my lips very naughtily. And afterward she did be impudent unto me, and did deny me to kiss her. But she went into my back, and did open the scrip, and got me to my food, even as a quiet and proper wife should go. As she did be so sedate that I knew she had mischief her heart of harmless kind. But afterward this did pass sudden into weeping, for she had a quick and sore memory of her father and of the destruction. And I took the maid into mine arms, and did let her be there very gentle, and made not to kiss or to comfort her, but yet to give comfort. And presently she ceased from weeping, and did slip her hand into mine, and I to keep it within, very soft and quiet. And afterward she began to eat her tablets, yet always she did be very hushed, so that I did be quiet also, and feel as that my love did be round her as a shield. And I knew that she had knowledge of this thing in her heart. And oft I harked into the night of the land, but there was nowhere any sound, or disturbing of the ether to trouble me. And the maid in mine arms did know when that I harked, for in verity she had the night-hearing and the understanding spirit that doth be needful to such. And odd whiles did I look down to her through the gloom that did be about us, and presently I did perceive that she looked up to me out of mine arms, and I kissed her. Now in all that day we had come nowhere upon any fire-hole in the bed of the olden sea, and truly I did ache to be nigh unto the warmth of such, for I did feel the cold of the land, because that I was weary, and because that I had not the thickness of the armour-suit below mine armour to warm me. And the cloak did be about the maid, for I had feared that she should grow cold as I carried her. Yet now she did know subtly that I was come to feel the utter chill of the land, and she gat from mine arms and put the cloak about me, and afterward came again into mine arms. And I let the cloak bide there, and drew it forward to be around her also. Yet truly I was joyful that I did be cold, as you shall perceive, for it was sweet to the heart to bear somewhat of that dread chill for mine own, and she half troubled and likewise with understanding of my heart, because that I was less clothed than I had been. Now in a little while the maid did pack the scrip, and so we did make ready again to go forward, for I was grown anxious, as you may suppose, that we should come to some fire-hole, that we have a place for sleep that had warmth and light, for truly the cold of the land did be drear and horrid. And I stooped to take the maid into mine arms, that I should carry her, but she did say nay, that she did be well rested. And I not to gainsay her, for she did mean the thing as I perceived, and I had no desire to force my way upon her, save when I saw truly that she did seem to go unwisely. And indeed when such did be the case I did strive with her, only with a nice reasonableness, as you shall know. And the maid walked by my side, and wondrous silent, but yet very nigh to me, so that I knew she did be very full of love to me, and of that quaint and sweet humbleness that love doth breed odd whiles in a woman when she doth be with her man, if but that man be also her master. And presently I perceived that the cloak did be over mine own shoulders, and I took it and would have put it about the maid, but truly she did not allow this, and when I did be stern with her, that she obey me in this matter, she did stand upon her toes that she might kiss me, and pulled my head down, and surely she kissed me and coaxed me that I wear the cloak, else should I give pain to her, in that I did surely be cold because she did wear the armour-suit. Yet I would not hark to this thing, so that the maid did be truly in trouble. And first she made a threatening that she wear but her olden garments that did be only rags if that I did persist. But this I saw to be foolishness, and scarce met, and did as much need to smile at her as that I did think to scold her, but I did be firm that she wear the cloak. And lo, she went sudden into crying, and this had been beyond my thoughts, and truly it set me all adrift, for I perceived that she did be greatly distressed concerning this matter, when I had conceived that she did but mean this thing for tenderness' sake. But mine heart helped me to understand, and I saw how she did be truly shamed in her sweet womanhood, if that I helped her not in this matter. For she did feel that she was made to do hurt unto that one that was her love. And this thing I do pray you to think upon, that you understand, for indeed, until that I was made to think, I had not seen it this wise for her. And in the end I came to agreement with the maid, that we wear the garment hour by hour in turn, and she to wear it the first hour, and I to wear it the second hour, and so to go forward. And truly this did be an happy arranging, but yet she stamped her foot a little as I put the cloak about her. And thrice in the hour did she ask me concerning the time that was gone, and surely when the hour was but up, she had the cloak off in a moment, and went to my back, and cast it upon my shoulders, and after to my front, and made it fast upon my breast, and so eager and naughty was she to do this, that I took her by the shoulders, and shook her somewhat, even as she had made to stamp at me, yet mayhaps with more of laughter. And she to take no heed at all, but to button the cloak and be very sedate. Yet in verity I caught her up into mine arms and kissed her for a sweet and naughty maid, and she very willing, now that she had gotten something of her way. But yet in an hour I did have the cloak about her again, and so did straighten matters, as you shall conceive. Now when we had gone forward through 5 great hours, I perceived that the maid did be utter worn, but yet did make presence that she was unwearied. And because I saw how she did be, I did heed and be anxious only that we come to some rock, to be for our safe refuge, and mayhap there to find an hole or cave, that should be somewhat to keep our heat about us, for there was nowhere any fire-hole anigh in all those hours. And presently we came to a part where there did be rocks, and we went to and fro in the gloom, and came in the end to a place where the rocks did go upward into the night, as that it had been a small and ancient cliff. And surely in a while I found a hole that did go inwards of the rock, and the hole did be above mine head, yet when I was come to it and had made the discos to spin therein, that I should have light to see whether there did be any creature or creeping thing in the hole, I was well pleased, for truly it did be sweet and dry. Now the maid had cried out a little to see the sudden shining that did come from within the hole, when I made the discos to spin, and because of the low roar of the weapon. But I answered her that there did be naught to have fear concerning, and so was she peaceful again, but yet a little trembling when that I came down to her, for indeed the discos did make always a strange sounding and a quaint and drear shining, as you do know. And she did be feared for me that some evil force had come upon me out of the cave, for she had neither knowledge nor conceiving that ever there did be so wondrous a weapon in all the world. And I gave the maid an help upward to the little cave, and came after myself, so we did be in a very nice and cosy place, that did not be easily gotten at by any monstrous thing. And surely I was utter glad for such a place, so that both should have safety, that we might sleep in the same hours. And in truth this was a needful plan, for if one had stayed wakeful to keep a watch for the other, then had our sleep taken us double hours, and this thing might not be, else should our food be done, and we to be twice so long as need be, ere ever we did come unto the refuge of the mighty pyramid, and I utter wearied and anxious of the heart and spirit, that I bring mine own soon unto the safety and glory of my mighty home, and so free from the destruction that did hang above our 2 souls for ever in that land, and the peril that did be everywhere, save in the last redoubt. Now when we were come into the hole of the rock, the maid did slip the scrip and the pouch from my shoulders, and she gat out the tablets, and made some of the water, and did be very swift and natty, and all to the despite of the gloom that did be utter in that little cave. And we eat each of us 2 of the tablets, and drank some of the water. And I made jest with the maid how that the tablets did be proper for strength, yet very lacking to fill the belly, though indeed I named it otherwise. And she to agree, and did pat mine arm, and did tell me how that she should cook me a monstrous tasty and great meal, when that we were come unto the mighty pyramid. and immediately afterward she did make to laugh upon me, and to name me impudently for so much thought unto my feeding, and afterward again to silence, and to patting my hand. Now when that we had made an end of eating and drinking, I was very ready for sleep, for truly it was 26 great hours since that I did last slumber, but for the maid it did be 38 great hours, for, as you do mind, she had made no sleeping when that she did lie in mine arms for 6 hours of our journeying. And I made how we should sleep, and put the cloak about the maid, but surely she did refuse, very piteous, and seeming to have also somewhat of doubt and puzzlement. But in this thing I did be very stern and intending, for she did not be over warm clad, as you do know, and moreover she was but a little one, while I did be wondrous hardy. And in verity I made her to obey, and gave her the scrip and the pouch for her pillow, and she, as it did seem to me, to sob to herself a little in the gloom of the night. But yet did I stay my heart a little stern to mine intent, and I wrapped the cloak about her, and set the scrip and the pouch very nice beneath her head, and afterward I knelt over to kiss her, before that I came unto mine own slumber. Yet did she turn her mouth from me, and did put her hand above her face to ward me off, the which did grieve me. For truly I did heed alway that I should never thrust my love upon her in her lonesomeness, but only let it be to her for a shield and for all comfort unto her heart. And I turned my back and went a pace away and lay down, for truly there did be no way else but to be near unto the maid, for it was but a little cave. And I lay very hushed, because that I was so sore in the heart. Yet truly I could not come unto my slumber, for I was so disturbed in my love. And I stayed very quiet, maybe for a great hour, and did fight that I shake not mine armour to jinglings with the utter cold that did make me to tremble. But the maid did sleep very sweet and calm, as I perceived by her breathings. Yet in verity the maid did be so much awake as I, and with some sweet and naughty intent of the heart, as my spirit did sudden perceive. And I lay very hushed, and did wait to discover what this thing might be. And I made my breathing to seem as the breathing of one that did sleep, even as that naughty maid did make pretending. And surely in a while I did know that she moved very quiet and came unto me, and I made yet that I slept very sound and strong, though the cold did nigh to conquer all my quietness. And in a moment I perceived the intent of the maid, for I did feel the cloak spread over me with a wondrous gentleness, and afterward there did be a soft kiss put upon my hand, and the maid back then to her pillow. Yet, as I did hear, she brought it something more nigh to me, as that she did crave to be near unto me that was her own love. And I sat up, and I put forth my hand suddenly, and took the maid into mine arms, and she to nestle unto me, so that I did be wordless, because that I loved her so utter. And presently I felt her to stir in mine arms, and I loosed her somewhat, for I did be always very mindful that I impose not upon her dear liberty of maidenhood. Yet she made not to go from me, but only to gather the cloak about her, so that we both did be in the cloak. And she asked why this might not be, for surely it did be madness that one should starve and the other be very nice in warmth. And indeed this did be but wisdom, yet it might not come the first from me. And I said to mine own that this thing should be, and she reached out and brought the scrip and the pouch, and placed them for a pillow for my head, and told me that I should put my head thereon. And I asked her how this did be right, for she did need a pillow the more than I. But she bid me to bide, and to have obedience in my turn. And when I was so, she spread the cloak over me, and afterward crept under, and did lie down beside me, and did seem as that she was asleep in one moment. Yet though she did be so sedate and matter of the fact, as we do say, while that she was wakeful, she did yet nestle unto me very sweet and childlike in her sleep. And surely I did want to kiss her, but yet did refrain from my love, for truly I did well that I treat her very gently at such a time as you do perceive. And in verity such a maid doth make a reverence in the soul of a man. Now presently I was gone over unto sleep, and in 7 hours I waked, and in that time had the maid slumbered through 8 hours, yet did I intend that she be not disturbed, until that we were all ready to the journey. And I slipped from under the cloak and put it round her very gentle. Yet it to be as she did miss me, even in her sleep, for it to seem to me that she put out her arms in the darkness, and she made a little moaning in her slumber. Yet in a moment she did be quiet, and afterward I put the cloak about her again. And I went then to the opening of the little cave, and put forth my head, and looked well about, and harked a long while. But there stirred nothing in the night thereabout, neither did my spirit wot of any matter for trouble unto us. And presently I gat out 2 of the tablets, for as you do know, the maid had given me the scrip and the pouch to be my pillow, so that I had power to come at these matters without awaking her. But for her own part, as I did learn after, she had used her torn garments to be for a pillow, yet had made no explaining, as you do mind. And surely this was one of her naughty whimsies, and mayhap she had been so full of a playful happiness, as doth take the heart betimes, that she had made a little mystery where there did be no mystery, and this but to release her joy, and so to say masterful things unto me out of her impudence, and afterward had meant that she tell me, but yet was gone unto slumber ere that she did mind her. Yet since that time a new thought hath come unto me that she did mean in the first that she should come into mine arms to sleep, and thereby need no pillow, but afterward it may hap that she saw with a sudden olden wisdom all in one moment, and afterward did act lovingly, yet with understanding, and so did change from her intent, yet with no improperness of modesty, but only with a niceness of sense which she did make no talk of, but yet did have. And surely how oft is a man thus wisely ordered unknowing? And to cease from these thinkings, and to go forward, I eat 2 of the tablets, and afterward made some of the water. And lo, the fizzing of the water waked the maid, and I knew that she reached out very sudden to me. But afterward I knew in a moment what did make the sound, and that I did be up and making ready for the journeying. And she gat up in the darkness, and said my name, and came unto me, and kissed my forehead in the dark. And immediately she ran her hands gently downward of my left arm, and when she came to the cup, she took it from me, and slapped my hand very dainty. And afterward I knew that she took a sip from the cup, and then turned that side to me, and so gave me to drink, and did scold me that I had not waked her to tend to my needs, for surely she did be mine own to have her duties to me. And after that I had drank, she took the cup and did finish it, and she gat 2 of the tablets, as I did think, and came afterward and sat upon the rocks to my side, and did nestle somewhat against mine armour, and took mine arm and set it about her, and so did make to eat. But first she put her tablet unto my lips in the dark that I should kiss it, and surely this was an olden way of Murdath, my beautiful one, so that I did be all shaken of the heart. And I kissed the tablet, and immediately she nestled unto me and did begin to eat. And truly it was as that eternity had rolled backward, for I had discovered the soul of mine olden love in this dainty maid to my side. Yet in looks had Murdath been of an utter differing, but in verity Nanny was wondrous lovely. But though I to be so stirred, I did be silent, for my heart was very full of memory. And as the maid did eat, she slipped her fingers between mine, curling them softly, and surely her fingers did be very little, and she stirred mine olden memories again in this thing. And surely I was dumb before my memory. And presently she put up the second tablet, as I did think that I should kiss it, and I kissed it as before. Yet, ere she did begin again to eat, I did wot suddenly that she hid some intent from me. And I caught her hand very quick in the dark, and her fingers did close upon the tablet very guilty, so that I perceived that I had guessed aright. And I opened her fingers, and I found that there did be but the half of a tablet within her hand, and surely she had taken but that one tablet, and had given me the one end to kiss and afterward the other, so that I should suppose she did eat two proper and complete tablets. And I perceived that she had done this thing secretly, being minded that if she eat always but one tablet, then should I never lack, even if that we did be overlong coming into the mighty pyramid. And I asked how often already she had eat but one for two, and she confessed in a very quiet voice that this did make the 5th time. And I was so angered that I took her hand and whipped it thrice, so hard that she had screamed if that she had been any coward, and she said nothing to me, neither went away. And she began to eat the half of the tablet, and did eat it from the other hand, as I to be aware, because that her left hand did be hurt. And she wept not, but was very quiet by me, and presently I knew that she kissed the whipped hand secretly in the dark. And afterward I put mine arm again about her, and she did be there in it, very sober and happy. And when she made an end of the first tablet, I gave her the second, and she eat it very quiet and content. And presently I talked with her, and showed her how that this thing did hurt my heart, even as she had been hurt that I did be cold garmented, the while that she did be warm. And I showed her the wickedness that she had done, that she did play so foolish with her life and strength, and well might she be weak and all alack. Yet did I think a little sweet impudence came into her as I told her concerning her wickedness. And I took her then into mine arms, and I showed her how that I knew all the unselfishness and wonder of her heart, and I kissed her, and truly her lips did have a lovely glad humbleness as they came into mine, so that it was as that I had not kissed her truly until that moment. And I made her to promise that she never deceive me in such matter again, and indeed she promised, but yet with no ready tongue. And afterward we made proper for the journey, and when we had gotten our gear together, I went downward of the rock and gave the maid help to come down. And when we did stand at last upon the bottom of the rock, I asked Nanni how she did feel, and whether her feet did hurt, and she answered that she did be very well, and had no soreness in her feet. And we went forward then, and she close unto me, and odd whiles with low speech, but more oft with silence, because that we did need that we hark alway for any danger or horror, and also there did be so utter a silence upon that part of the land, which did be the bottom of the olden sea. And we eat and drank at the 6th and the 12th hours, and in the 15th hour we came upon a great slope of the earth, and lo, it did be the far side of the sea. And we went upward for a long hour, and so came to the upward part, and did be able once more to look over the greatness of that land. End of chapter 10, part 2.